Good morning. I hope that everybody can actually hear me. If this video is not audible, that's going to be really annoying. But you know what? Maybe I just need to say something without anybody actually having to listen, so that's okay. So I've been on a huge break. Was feeling very, very blocked channel-wise, and I learned a lot from that just in time to do this channeling health and safety video. So clearly I had to go and learn a bunch of extra lessons before I gave you guys any advice that wouldn't be helpful. Needed to go through my own ups and downs and hiccups so that I can come back and go, okay, this is what worked, this is what didn't, and hopefully you guys can not make some of the same mistakes that I did or not have to wade through the muck quite as long as I did. So I'm really excited about this video. Obviously, you know, when people start to get into spirituality and unlocking your psychic gifts, everyone's super excited about actually being able to do it, but that doesn't mean that you'll be able to keep it. It doesn't mean that you will be accurate. It doesn't mean that you will be feeling safe and happy and healthy while you're doing it. And there's also a lot of stuff to keep in mind about keeping everybody else safe who you're working with as well. I've been learning a lot of hard lessons about how energy gets all mixed up and lingers and cloys as well. I like to say, first of all, that I'm not an expert at any of this, but I've been pretty deep in it for at least a good 6 months to a year now. So keep in mind, I'm only a couple of steps above beginner. Some of you might be more advanced than me. Some of you might have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. Either way, I think there's something here for everybody. And even if you're not at the point where you're actually practicing channeling yet, though I think you should, because everybody can and does anyway, this will really help you get a sense for where and how you might want to push yourself, right? I think it should be a gentle process. And the other thing I wanted to say is that you're already channeling, so keeping these kind of health and safety tips in mind is going to help you in your everyday life anyway. Even if you're not sitting down and going, okay, cool, I'm going to channel now, I'm going to listen to my guides, I'm going to speak to my mum's soul, I'm going to, chat to some ETs. Even if you're not doing that, you are channeling all the time. And so being able to navigate that energy and cleanse yourself and decide and discern what you're going to listen to and what works for you is really, really, really going to help you just go about your day as well, okay? What this video is not, it's not advice on how to unlock psychic abilities. I'm coming from a place of assuming that everybody can already do this, or at least maybe almost everybody. Here's how to do it safely, okay? So how to listen to yourself, how to do it safely, because I really do believe that everybody can do this. All right, it might end up being a couple of videos, not sure how this is going to go. I have a couple of notes of things I want to remember to touch on, but I'm actually just kind of channeling a lot of this at the moment too. So first of all, just a bit of a disclaimer for where I've been at lately. I was in a good place where I was channeling a lot all the time, but I was probably overdoing it. I was doing a reading almost every single day. One reading a day probably doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're a beginner like me and you're still building up that flexibility in those muscles and learning how to cleanse yourself after each reading, it's actually quite exhausting. It's like doing a workout every day. Not everybody can do a workout every day when they first get started. So I was probably doing a bit too much too fast, and it meant that I was actually not able to tell the difference between where someone's energy stopped and started for a little bit, and I'll go into that in more detail. It was pretty messy and pretty irresponsible on my part, but I'm learning and getting better, and so hopefully we can avoid those issues in the future. So I got quite scrambled. My very good friend, maybe a little bit unwittingly, helped me out and gave me a huge big cleanse and clear. Since then, I've been very slowly getting back into it, been learning more about energetic hygiene, but then also went through another kind of wave of life stuff and kind of blocked myself a little bit. And I couldn't tell if I couldn't channel or if I just didn't want to channel, if I were too tired. So I went through quite a weird kind of hanged man phase there where I was just kind of resting and recouping, and that was a good thing and it was really important. But there are also things I could have done to prevent that from being such a huge delay as well. It's actually only the last week probably that I've been hearing my guides really clearly again. And I think a big part of the reason for that is because I actually decided to start listening again. I don't think Spirit went, Kelly's a bit messed up at the moment, we're going to cut her off. I think it was literally me going, la 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 la, why can't I hear Spirit? La 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 la, why am I confused? Why aren't you talking to me, guys? And then as soon as I went, okay, I got to actually hear what they want to say rather than, bury my head in the sand, it started opening up again. So my guides are saying, just take your hands off your ears and you'll hear us. So, sorry guides, thank you very much for your patience with me, as always. All right, so where are we going to start? I want to first talk about what my process is for starting a reading. Okay, and I'll talk a little bit about why I do this every single time. In another video, I'll actually do a demonstration from start to finish for how I actually prepare, start it off, what the channeling process looks like, and then how I kind of clean up afterwards and cut cords, okay? So, we'll just start in a linear way. So, I need to keep my vibe high when I'm channeling. What does that mean? Living in my heart space, for starters. So usually I take a lot of deep breaths until I can feel that really sweet buzzy feeling in my heart. I try not to think too much and let that go and let my heart lead the way. I'll usually spend a lot of time listening to music that makes me feel really happy and uplifted. I'll eat lots of fruit and vegetables that are fresh, nothing too heavy. I like to get out in nature. But basically, I'll spend time with my kids, I'll say thanks and my gratitude. And basically what that does when you're opening up your heart chakra and you're feeling in that really high vibrational state is it makes sure that the energies that you're inviting in are going to match that as well. And I'll talk a little bit more about why that's important too. The other thing that's really, really important is grounding. So by grounding, I mean anchoring into the earth, activating that root chakra, feeling really, really secure. And what this does is it balances out the crown chakra. If you're going to go in all wishy-washy, airy-fairy, getting your crown chakra a huge workout, but you're not balanced here, that's when people start to get delusional, psychosis, when they start to get sick, when they get migraines. You really, really need to balance that out. And again, I'm going to talk about this in more detail as we go. I'll give you some examples about things that have happened to me. But what I do to ground is I'll actually put my bare feet on the ground. I actually very rarely wear shoes anymore. If I can help it, I'll just walk around the streets barefoot. I go to the park barefoot. Basically, I'll keep shoes on me in case I need to walk into a shop and not be a complete rude bogan. But yeah, feet on the bare earth is so important. If you can get your feet in running water too. I also like to do a lot of pelvic floor exercises, and I repeat mantras to myself, as my pelvic floor grows stronger, I become more anchored into the earth. So that's really nice. And your diet is really important too. So I know I just said that I like to eat a lot of fresh, kind of unprocessed, fruits and veg. If I'm hungry before a reading, I'll just have some, carrot sticks with some hummus. Or just a lot of light foods and water and nuts and things like that. Really try to lay off the sugar when I know I'm going to be reading that day, which is hard because I'm a bit of a chocoholic. But then on the flip side of that, grounding is really important, and everybody's different. Listen to your own body and what you need. I actually want to learn a lot about different types of star seeds and the diets that suit them. But I know for me, meat has become really important, which is really hard to say because I was vegan for so long. But I think I really need that extra weight and that extra nutrition just to really ground me into the earth. And some people will tell you the opposite. They'll say, no, meat lowers your vibration. It's going to drag you down. You're going to absorb all that sad energy. But I think just for me personally, I am so up in the clouds already that I really need that lead balloon pulling me down into the earth and making me feel safe and nurtured and heavy so that I can channel safely. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's it'll be different for everybody. So for example, if you're a life path 1, you might already be really anchored and grounded, and maybe opening up your channel might be the bit that's a little bit harder for you, and it'll be okay for you to go do those lighter and lighter things, like maybe fasting will be good for you, maybe maybe like going on juice diets or something, I don't know. Listen to yourself and your body, okay? Don't take this as blanket advice for everybody. This is just what works for me. So yeah, so I might eat like meat once or twice a day. I make sure that I do that before I'm channeling. I also like to take supplements sometimes. I might put some protein powder in a smoothie or take an iron supplement. Amy got me into like B complex supplements as well, which I take every now and then. I just listen to my body and let it tell me what I need in a given day. It's a very intuitive process for me, and that's very much a Life Path 7 thing as well, like listening to your body and not taking everybody else's advice too much. Like, we're not taking everybody else's advice at the expense of your own intuitive knowing. So I was vegan for like 5 years, and the whole time I was just craving fish, like just wanted fish so badly, would supplement, would try other options, and it just never took the craving away. And then I had a kid, and my kid was sick, and I was like, well, you're gonna eat fish with me. And it just hit the spot. It's like there are some things that you just need, and I know that the state of the earth sucks right now. I know that there are a lot of ETs who would not go anywhere near meat. I know that there are people who don't need to eat anything at all, and they can live off air and sunshine and be totally fine. For the purposes of my journey, I think eating a bit of meat is going to be okay, and that's just something I'm going to have to forgive myself for. And that might change in the future. Like, I might completely change my mind about that. I might learn better. Maybe when I'm not breastfeeding, it won't be such a big deal. But yeah, that's my journey. You do you. Okay, so grounding is super, super important. Heart chakra, super, super, super important. And then opening up your channel as well. Basically, what's going to happen when you get these 3 spots in alignment and open is you're going to create good plumbing. Okay, so think of when you're channeling, literally as like water coming through. If you're all heart chakra and this is all activated and everything else is, oh wow, there's a caterpillar on my leg. Hey, caterpillar. And everything else is blocked up, you're going to get crazy migraines. You're not going to be able to integrate that information into embodied knowledge, and you're probably also going to get it wrong. Like, if this is your antenna and it's not able to go anywhere, it's just going to turn into white noise and static. And it took me a really long time to work out that was happening to me. One of the reasons why I knew that I had to do this video today is I started getting a migraine for the first time in over a month. And I went, oh sweet, yes, the plumbing's starting, I got to go through. So I'm not scared of a migraine anymore, because I know that spirit saying, knocking at the door, going, come on. So what do? I jump back in the grass, I connect in with my heart space, I let myself feel as happy and free as I want to feel, and it just starts to flow, and like already the pain is almost completely gone. So 3-point process: crown chakra, heart, grounding, right? So what do I do then when I actually get into a reading? I cleanse after I've done all that. So there are a lot of ways to cleanse. You can look this up. These are some of the things that I do. So water is great. If you can get your feet in like running water, if you've got like a puddle in your yard at home, or you want to have a shower. Salt is great too if you've got like a salt scrub. You don't have to do that every time. Sometimes just drinking water. Sitting in the sunshine is awesome. You can just get in the sun for a couple of minutes. Imagine all the gross energy burning off you. You can ask your angels or guides or God or anyone you want to, your ancestors, and say, hi, please help me cleanse and clear myself for this so that I can be a vessel for the highest light and love, truth and compassion. Or for, the devil himself, whoever you're channeling with. I'm not going to judge you, but I always go for the highest light and love, because that's the truth, right? Like, I'm not going to channel, some dude who's going to troll me, right? Like, I don't see the point of that. Plus, I don't want that gross energy on me. So I always go and I say, please cleanse me, please help me channel for the highest light and love, truth and compassion. And I also like to say, can everything that we learn today or in this session be ultimately for the, what do I say? So if the highest light and love, truth and compassion, and where everything that we learn today be for the highest good and ultimate healing. So ultimate healing. So that's a caveat that not everybody will want to go for. Think about what you're okay with learning, okay? Really check back in with that. I go for ultimate healing because I'm trying to be brave and be okay with making people unhappy. I've had a couple of readings where stuff that's quite heavy has come through. I've asked Spirit not to tell me anything that's really, really going to trigger people in a way that I cannot support people. So, like, I'm not a counselor. Like, I don't have a psychology degree. All of my kind of support roles have been just intuitive and from being a teacher, right? So I've said, please don't throw me or the people I'm with in the deep end too much. Like, wade us into this. Let's share information that's actually going to encourage people to keep exploring rather just full on triggering people. And the funny thing about that too is you don't know what's going to trigger people. I've had readings where I've told people that they are, reptilian bad guys who have been responsible for millions of years of trauma, and they've been like, yep, that made sense. Thanks for telling me that. I really appreciate that. I can see the healing journey that I've been on over millions of years. Like, thank you very much. And that was fine, and I was so scared about sharing that. And then with somebody else who was like this really experienced professional energy worker, I shared something that I thought was totally vanilla, if anything was really flattering. And they told me, like, thank you for this. I won't get back to you for a little while because it really triggered me. There was a lot of really negative stuff here. I'll get back to you soon. And I was so grateful for that honesty and that advice, but I just could not have anticipated that. So it's really important that you get good with yourself about what you're okay with and let Spirit let Spirit lead the way in terms of what you're okay with sharing and what kind of an impact you're okay with making. Because I couldn't have possibly have guessed how these people were going to react. All I said was, can it be for the ultimate healing, and kind of go easy on us, please? Because, yeah, I'm still very new at this. And I don't really know what to do if I trigger people too bad. Like, I'll be here and listen to you, but again, like, I'm just a mere mortal talking to ETs in the park, okay? So, quick recap. Before we channel, we open our crown, our heart, and our root chakra, right? It's great if you've got all your chakras super balanced and aligned and awesome, but I'd say those are the three most important, right? So we go and we cleanse. You can get in the sunshine, have a shower, drink a bunch of water. What else can we do? I've got this Australian bush flowers spray, which is really, really cool, which is specifically for cleansing. Some people burn like Palo Santo or sage, be discerning based on your own cultural values and backgrounds. Just like cleaning the house and things like that help. Crystals are really, really good. I have been using apophyllite, which is really, really cool. That's really good for opening up your crown. Smoky quartz, awesome. It transmutes negative energy into positive goodness. What else I've been using lately? Selenite. Selenite is super cool. All the white and grey stuff. Oh yeah, and that's Lemurian quartz. All of these are super cheap. I just got these from markets. Like, I think this was like $5. I think that was like $2. I think that was like $10, and that was $4. Like, it's not expensive. Some people don't like to rely on crystals. To me, it's just like, I'm not fully relying on them. They're just here to help. And sometimes I'll even, depending on where I feel blocked, I might have, something here while I'm tuning in, and I'll just kind of let the crystal doing what it needs to do. You can use it intuitively as well. I'm all for choosing stuff intuitively. Your guides might say, go get the sodalite. Go get the citrine or something. And you'll go, why? That doesn't make sense. I want to use selenite. And they'll say, yeah, do that too, but get what you want. And it might not be until you're channeling that you realize why that energy was so important for what you're doing. So yeah, I'm all for choosing things intuitively. So these are all great ways to cleanse, clean your house as well. Think about what you're wearing, which can be super cool. So Rian Lockhart at Moonstone Witchery talks a lot about enchanting your clothes and asking them to help you, asking them to protect you. I also like just intuitively choosing what I'm going to wear every day. I just kind of go like, all right, let my guides pick for me, and they might give me a color or something specific to wear, and they'll say, this is what energy you need today. These are all things that help. And it's also good if you have a nice clean space to work at too. I have a desk that's my little sacred quiet space in the world. It's really creative. It's kind of like it's messy, but it's clean. And I have had a lot of energy build up in that space over the last couple of years, and that's a nice space for me. However, sometimes I really just want to be out in nature, and I want to be right here. So again, listen to yourself, see what you're capable of. I would caution people not to get too hung up with any particular routine, but having a routine is really good when you're still getting your confidence up. So it used to take me about maybe almost 40 minutes to tune in, or 45 to an hour even, if you can count it, like how long it would take for me to get on the zone. I would play some song with a lot of bass and be blasting in my earphones and dancing around to get my root chakra sorted, and then I would get brighter and brighter and cheerier music until I felt my heart space, and I'd be kind of dancing around and eating healthy snacks, and I'd get some water, and then I'd cleanse myself, and by the time I actually sit down to work, it would be about an hour of prep already. This is why it takes me so long to do a reading. And then I would go through and try to tune in, and then I would doubt myself, I'd try to tune in again, I'd doubt myself, I'd try to tune in again until I went, okay, I'm already in, stop doing this, Kelly. And it would literally take about 4 hours to do a reading. Now it probably takes about 1 hour to do the same one, because I'm not doubting myself constantly, right? And I'm trying to always be in this this ready, receptive, happy, surrendering kind of mindset, right? And I've done it so many times now, I'm not doubting myself and questioning myself all the time. On the flip side of that, I've also had a couple of months where I couldn't really do anything very quickly, right? Because I felt so blocked and confused, and I was going through so much. So, just trust that you're going to learn the lessons you need to learn. Don't force yourself. Listen to yourself. And take some notes here. Okay, so where are we up to? We've got open up your chakras, cleanse, and then we sit down to actually channel, right? So one of the things I really want to point out to you is be very clear about who you're connecting with and why you're connecting with them, okay? So I have a rule where I try very hard not to channel if I don't have their explicit permission, especially for work. There have been a couple of instances. Hello, Buggy Bug. Oh, that is a big bull ant. A couple of instances where I've channeled without somebody's permission. That was, for example, I was connecting with my mum's soul once because I was feeling super sad, and I'm like, Mama, why aren't you talking to me? And we had a cool chat, so that was nice. Sometimes if I'm worried about someone's safety, someone might call me and say, hey, something real weird's going on, can you tune in for me please and see if there's, you can pick up on something, and I will. But again, I'll make a deal with spirit, and I'll say, look, with your permission or with the permission of this person's soul, can I please get information just specifically for this this purpose, right? I'm not saying I want to go spy on people. I'm going to stalk my ex online or something and channel and do a million tarot readings trying to work out why they're ignoring me, right? But I might say hey, spirit, with your permission, can I get some info on this? And I actually say to spirit, if I'm out of line, if I'm doing something that I do not have permission to do by someone's soul or someone's ego, if I've got it wrong, if I'm actually going to cause somebody harm, shut me down. I say, please, please, please shut me down. And that's actually happened a couple of times. I don't think that spirit actually has the final say. I think it's more of a collaboration where I've kind of sensed that something's off, spirit sensed that something off, and I've gone, okay, can't do it today. I'm just going to have to apologize to someone, say sorry, I'm so late, can't do it today. You know, and this is such an issue with the new economy and the kind of work that we're doing as well, right? Because I've been in a lot of masculine energy, you know, most of my work has been in like hospitality, you know, retail, fast food, and then academia, which was very Hunger Games, you know, like go, 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 mark as much as you can, you know, push it, hustle, whatever. And now I'm in this work where sometimes I just can't do the work. Sometimes it's just, nope. If I push myself through it, it would be incorrect, it could be harmful, it could hurt me, it could hurt the people I'm working with. It's just absolutely irresponsible. It's like you're operating, you know, a hot air balloon and there's a storm. It's like, no, we have to go on this hot air balloon. People have booked this ticket, we're gonna fly. And, you know, there's some health and safety operator is saying, if you get in that hot air balloon, you will definitely die. Do not do that. You know, like you will have to reschedule. So I'm trying to work out how to, be responsible to others, be responsible to myself, and then as an actual business owner as well, how do I navigate this? I've been super, super lucky in that so far everyone has been really kind and patient with me. I have seriously pushed that to the limit the last month or two. I'm probably about to learn a very hard lesson about what happens when I drag my feet too much. I'm very sorry to people who've had to wait for me. I guess I'm still a bit of a rookie, and you know, there's a reason why people who have been doing this for longer charge more and are able to work more and more effectively and efficiently. Like I'm still kind of an intern, I guess, but I feel like it's time to take this more seriously and upgrade, right? And at the same time, like it's time to rest. I'm still feeling through this. Let's just get through this channeling health and safety bit first, right? Okay, so I think I might have to stop this video soon and do part 2 because I don't want to overwhelm people. But what I did want to wrap up with very quickly in terms of starting a reading is, again, why holding on to that high vibe heart space is so important, okay? Because basically your energy is going to dictate what energies are coming through to you, okay? How you feel is basically going to determine which door you're opening. So, and this is for everything in life, right? But really important when it comes to channeling. So if you're thinking, okay, I'm going to channel now, I feel super good and happy, but then all of a sudden you start feeling really anxious, shut it down. Like seriously, shut it down. I cannot overstate how much crap there is in the astral and the higher realms and just people around you and just how much radio and everything is going on that will trick you, that will confuse you, that will take advantage of you, that will take advantage of your anxiety, right? And that can be, you know, demons, spirits, people who aren't very nice to you, just stuff going on in the collective unconscious. And it can be your own anxiety as well. That was my biggest block, my actual own anxiety, like sabotaging me and making sure I couldn't break through. When I, trigger warning, was super upset when I had a miscarriage a couple of years ago, I could not get anything through that was not doom and gloom. Like every cards I pulled were like, everyone's gonna die, everything's horrible, like you're evil. Like I was just pulling like the scariest cards, I was just getting the scariest stuff come through. I even had, when I was trying to like meditate, I didn't even know I was channeling at the time, I was just meditating, and I saw this image and it looked like, so funny, I didn't even realize it was a dragon at the time. It was just, I saw it as like just so unfamiliar, right? So mystified that I couldn't even recognize it. But it looked like this electric blue outline in the dark, and I was describing it as like a goat head with bat wings and this lizard tail, And I was even saying to someone, like, what kind of mythical weird creature was this? And they were like, a dragon. I was like, oh yeah, it was a dragon. And I just kept hearing, like, will make a trade with me, like make like a blood oath or a trade, you know, I'll protect your kid, you tell me who you'll sacrifice. And it was so scary and messed up. And I was like, no, shut it down. And this is when I started connecting with angels, because I didn't even think I really believed in angels. Like, I was still kind of confused. And then I did that, you know, like Lord's Prayer, asking Archangel Michael for safety. It was like lighting white candles, just like really like committing myself to the light out of sheer desperation. Like, I don't know if God and angels are real, but I sure don't want to deal with the alternative, right? So that's like an extreme version of scary stuff that can come through. But sometimes it's even more subtle. Sometimes I've been meditating and it would be like, like a guided angel meditation. And usually the more cliche something looks, or actually it's more about the intuitive association, don't make wrong or right answers, but basically I was trying to get this like angel message through, and I saw basically what looked like, you know, some illustration that would be on a church wall, right? It was like this person with long hair and big angel wings, and walking through a field, and something just went like, nah, something's wrong, like this just looks really cliche. And the thing I could see was like, oh yeah, like here's the information, my child, like thank you for inviting me in. And the more I was like, no, something's wrong, they started getting kind of angry and pushy and were like, listen to me, yes, listen to me. And they just got really pushy, and I was like, shut it down, stop channeling, like clear everything, and just have really strong boundaries. Trust yourself, you know, if in doubt, don't. If in doubt, don't. Seriously. If it's actually, you know, an archangel or an angel or a really high vibe guide from, you know, Andromeda constellation or something, they're not going to get mad at you if you're doubting, right? They're going to be like, okay, sweet, like, talk to you later when you're ready. Like, they don't care. They're going to be sweet and loving and whatever, right? If you're saying, okay, something feels wrong, in my experience, that's when they've gotten quite upset. And I've actually noticed that recently with like humans as well, where I've said, hey, I need some time to think, I need to go check in with myself, you know, recenter. And then they've been like, no, don't make a decision, come talk to me now. And that same thing, like that intuition where you're like, ooh, why is self-care so offensive to you? What's going on here? And you can feel that corrupted energy. So if in doubt, don't. The more high vibe you are and the more focused you are at being able to hold that and go with that flow, that's the energy that you're going to attract, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to go straight to source straight away, but you'll feel the energy meeting you halfway and lifting you up. So for example, sometimes, mostly when I get a migraine and I don't know what's trying to channel, usually I get on the grass, in the sun, I breathe deeply into my heart space, and then I start to see in my mind's eye, usually like a bit of light in my head. It'll be like a bright white light, and the more I breathe into it and let it move and keep opening up, usually that's when I start to feel like the light gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And archangels, and specifically, so not everybody does this, I've noticed the bigger the energy, the more it needs to come into me, right? And the light just wants to come more and more and more, and usually it comes all the way through my head, into my chest, into my stomach, and then I start to feel like the white light really like move into me, feel it, and they're just bringing that vibration and that energy fully into me, and then I can actually hear them, right? Whereas if I'm channeling, you know, my grandfather or someone who's booked a reading, usually I can just kind of feel it in my head, and I can feel the energy around me, and that's enough. But with the bigger the energy, the more it really has to come in and take over and have this full body experience. And I think that's because, one, you need that huge attunement to hear them, and two, because the energy is just so big, you need to make it bigger. And now this is circling back to why grounding is so big, right? Because some people freak out and they think, no, I just want to climb higher and higher and higher. Why are you anchoring me down and giving me a weight? First of all, time and space doesn't exist. There's no such thing as up. There is you, right? Second of all, the more you anchor, the bigger capacity you have. Okay? It is not either or. You have to have both, right? The more grounded you are, imagine that you as a battery or a receiver is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger so that you can let in more and more and more and more. Okay? It is the same thing. It is a balancing act. And again, plumbing as well. If you've got the energy coming through, it needs to go somewhere. And Amy actually gave me some really advice lately too. She was saying if you're channeling someone and the energy is a little bit gross, like maybe you're connecting with someone and maybe they're a bit unhealed or something, she said make sure you're on the ground when you're channeling and imagine their energy going straight through you and back into the earth so that you're not holding on to yourself and that energy isn't going to stick to you and hold on to you. Okay? So again, like flood, let it flood through, let it come in and keep moving. It's just going to help you bring more and more and more. Okay? I feel like that's a huge info dump. I probably should have given a heads up that you might want a piece of paper and a pen. We can keep talking about this. The next thing I want to talk to everybody about, which I'll start talking about in a second, I want to talk about how to do the reading and then how to cleanse yourself and get out of that energy, okay? Super, super important. And I'll tell you a little bit about what's gone wrong for me when I haven't had really good hygiene, and then also ways that I've been able to like give myself a break and cut off that energy and really just have really strong boundaries, okay? Cool, hope that works. Thanks for your patience with me. Talk soon.